You're in our main distribution, production and training centre on the beautiful Sunshine Coast in Queensland. This is essentially the HQ or headquarters for Tim Adams Specialty Coffee. That's the brand that obviously we sell to cafes Australia-wide. The second part of the business, which is housed here, is our Tim Adams Specialty Coffee mobile espresso bar. The coffee van is kind of what got my name out there. It got me to really meet and understand how our coffee was being perceived with our customers directly. And the person who really has that important role in understanding what a customer wants is the barista. It's no one else. It's not the roaster, it's not the cupper, it's not the farmer. It's specifically the person making the coffee and understanding how that customer has enjoyed that experience. It's also the home of Pedro and Grizz Coffee Roastery, which is the roasting company that I've set up with James Pedrozzini to then roast for Tim Adams.
I do the bulk of the roasting, basically monitoring every single roast, making sure the coffee's coming out the way we want it to come out. My day's really spent at the coffee roaster, dialing in profiles. It's a constant process, they're never set. The green coffee is always changing.
The reason we set it up that way is so that we can roast specifically coffees for individual brands of coffee as well. So under that brand we roast for 4 different companies. 10 minutes south in Caloundra is our espresso bar, Lambkin Lane, which is in one of the top rated cafes on the Sunshine Coast, also in Queensland and Australia and worldwide for that matter. So it's built a great reputation very quickly in such a short space of time. We're getting very consistent coffee on the Sunshine Coast now, and a lot of people are choosing specialty roasters rather than larger commercial style roasters as well, which is great. Going to Origin it's a melting pot of information. Unless you see it for yourself, you don't really fully understand the importance of it. There's nothing more raw than visiting an actual coffee farmer who produces coffee for a living. And there's so many important elements from farm level all the way through to the cup that we drink that if we miss that very beginning, we've missed the whole story.
Just getting back to the farm level and dealing with farmers and helping them develop and grow better coffee and build better lives for themselves is really where our focus is at the moment.
We visited an experimental farm, El Mirador, yesterday in the highlands of Colombia, here in Wheeler, in Pitalito, Colombia. And some of the experiments that Ben Export have been doing today, we cupped those and tasted them side by side, and also amongst some other experimental lots that they've been working on. So we bought 4 bags of this from the cupping we did yesterday. I think they had 15 bags or 12 bags in total. What we've tasted from both Honduras and here in Colombia has been very, very, very tasty coffee. The beauty about going to Origin, for anyone in particular, is also you get to meet who's actually making or producing the coffee. And a coffee farmer very rarely meets their customer. So the reasons that we go there is to make sure that we're fully communicating that process with the farmer. That way we get what we want to then satisfy our customers. And then the farmer's then obviously satisfied and paid correctly for the work and focus that they've put on producing good coffee. The last aspect is pretty much our training and consultancy area. The point of the training and consultancy work is to get people to understand specialty coffee. So what we want to try and do when we educate is actually take them right back to the start. So what does a coffee berry look like? What are the growing regions around the world? How it's roasted, which is a very important aspect as well, so they get to understand the variance that can happen from a roaster's perspective, and then also the entire espresso menu and what they'd expect to serve a customer.
I love coffee and I'm always talking about it, so to educate others to talk about it just as much as I do, and to get them to really understand what it is that we're working with and where we source the coffee from and how to utilise it best on a bar, there's nothing more rewarding than walking into a cafe and having them talk about, or listening to them talk about coffee to their customers as well.
Our training is designed so a barista is not only a barista, but they're almost an industry leader or an industry professional, and that's why training is really, really important to our business and our business philosophy as well.